The new age of basketball has created a dynamic and a dichotomy that exists in this league that, quite frankly, disgusts me as a fan, disgusts me as a longtime watcher and enjoyer of basketball. It exists in the men's game and it also now exists in the women's game. And what we're seeing right now from women's basketball is we're seeing a lot of things that are going on that, quite frankly, are probably going to hurt the game long term unless it gets fixed as immediately. And this comes in the form of, where the hell is Stephanie White? Where is Stephanie White? At what point, at what point, at what point do we call this crap out? At what point do people say enough is enough? If you can't coach, don't be the coach. If you can't be at your job, don't work for the job. This isn't a regular job. You are not working a 9 to 5 clock in, clock out day. This is not the way professional sports work. And for those people who think it's insensitive to have an opinion like this, think of yourself and think of your day to day job. Think of your day to day job. You work 9 to 5. For most people, you work 9 to 5. I don't work 9 to 5. I'm blessed. But most people work 9 to 5. Well, I don't work 9 to 5. I worked hours that probably far exceed any 9 to 5 day. Just saying. I work nights, I work weekends, I work conferences. I do a lot of stuff that goes well beyond any 9 to 5 schedule. So, no, I don't work 40-hour work weeks. I probably work 60 to 70-hour work weeks. All that said, being a professional basketball coach, being a professional basketball player, these things come with certain responsibilities that unfortunately are more important than your personal life. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. We'll talk about this right now. Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. We talk facts over feelings. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. It's been a slow week for me, obviously, as you know. Trying to get some content out because, yeah, that's what I do. I got to catch up on some things. But we got Sunday Night Heat coming up this Sunday after the game at 3 o'clock. Obviously, did 1 hour live last night. I am doing a live tomorrow for BKFC 76. Is it 76? Yeah, 76 in Austin. Not Austin. It's not Austin. It's in Fort Worth, Texas tomorrow. So jump on board that. I'd love to have you join me for that event. But man, let's dig deeper into this thing here, because what we're seeing with the Indiana Fever right now and seeing with Stephanie White, she misses a game in Chicago. She comes back for the next game and the game after and the game after that. And now, once again, is off on personal reasons. She's away from the team for personal reasons. So Stephanie White is been announced that she'll be out indefinitely. What does indefinitely mean? It means you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea when Stephanie White will be back coaching this basketball team. Now, I go back to the thing about 9 to 5 because when you look at a team, a person that works 9 to 5 every single day, if you've ever had the unfortunate situation in your life, and unfortunately we will all have it at some point. I've had it myself. When you lose your parent, a parent or both parents, either parent, it's obviously a very, very difficult situation. Now, from what the reports have been, it's not Stephanie White's mother. It is that of Lisa Salters, her partner. And while I extend my prayers and I hope that everything is okay for Lisa Salter's mother, Stephanie White still has a job to do. This wasn't a job that you take, that you coach home games and you don't coach road games. That's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. You're either all in or you're not. And that's the problem that's become of professional sports. Most people are not. They're not all in. There's only one thing, in my opinion. Again, I'm an old school guy, and you can call me insensitive, the whole nine. I had a full time job. I was a salesperson selling digital marketing to law firms for a major international corporation based in Minnesota. You think Minnesota's a very liberal place? They may show that shit on TV. It's not. They gave no flying fucks. None whatsoever. None. That my father was on his deathbed. I had a quota that I had to make. It's that simple. Now, I'll be real. That month, I didn't make it. And it didn't get me fired. But at that company, I'm not naming it, at that company, if you don't make a number to a certain level, and it happens a couple of times in a row, you get put on performance improvement. And if you get put on performance improvement, you have to make certain numbers over the next 3 months or you will be out of a job. Mind you, it didn't matter that my history with the company had me always making my numbers annually. The reality was that my father was dying in a hospital and I still needed to sell shit. Because that's what the typical everyday person has to go through when they're dealing with shit. They have to fight through what they got to fight through and they got to keep moving forward. Was I with my father in the evenings? Absolutely. Was I in the hospital every day for 2 weeks? Yes. My father was in the hospital for 2 weeks before he passed away. I was with my father the last day he was feeling all right. A week later, he's in the hospital. The next day, he felt it was awful. And then within a few days, he's in the hospital. And a week later, he was dead. The reality remains. Oh, by the way, during that time, I got divorced. I got divorced the week my dad died. Ain't that something? I'm not saying this for the purposes of wanting you to feel sorry for me. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. There's nothing to feel sorry for me for. This is life. This is reality. This is what everyday people go through all the time. But for fucking professional basketball coaches now and basketball players and just pro athletes in general, there is this newfound need to be extra level, sympathetic, empathetic, whatever the empathetic is for the plight of someone in their job. No, I don't have to be that way. I can wish the mother of Lisa Salters well, pray that she is okay. And I can also expect Stephanie White to do her damn job. She missed the day, and a day later, she missed the game, and a day later, she's back. Don't really know why she came back a day later. I can only think that maybe she felt uncomfortable because, Austin Kelly, they won by 27 over Chicago without Stephanie White. She may have felt some kind of way. I don't know. I'm speculating. But then she coaches against Connecticut. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Let me see what the exact games. She coached the next game after Chicago. Let me pull it up so I'm not mistaken. Because she coached 3 games after the game with Chicago. So she coached in Atlanta, at home versus the Liberty, at home versus the Sun. She coached 3 games, and one of them was on the road. Now they're on a road trip. They still have access to private chartered jets. They still have these privileges. They're not regular people needing to buy a plane ticket on Delta to get back home. She's a very well paid, maybe she's not an NBA well paid coach, but she's a very well paid coach in the WNBA. If she needs the team to provide her with a charter jet to fly the hell back home after the game, then so be it. She has a competent enough staff, she should at least, games. Absolutely. But there comes a point where shit like this becomes an absolute massive freaking distraction. It becomes a problem. It's a different voice every day. This is a team that was built to win now, built to win this year. If she's incapable of being all in, then she should probably step aside. She should not be the coach. Not to mention, I think the job that she's done this year has been rather poor. I never thought I'd say that. I'd like, at least you knew the deal with Christy Sides. I still haven't figured out Stephanie White. I mean, she's coaching this team like she's coaching Connecticut, but yet she's got thoroughbreds out there. She's coaching a team of thoroughbreds like you would coach ponies or people that, or horses that are elderly. I don't know what they call them, honestly. Let me look up the name of an elderly horse. What is an elderly horse called? A geriatric horse, a senior horse, an aged horse. I mean, yeah, that's what they're called. That's another word for old. Another word for an old horse is like mare. Let me see. Old horse. The whole thing is you're coaching the team in a way in which most people don't agree with it. You're not utilizing the talent that you have for what it's worth and for what it can do. And then yet you're gone now for if she misses there's a report it's indefinite. It's in So they played the Sun on Tuesday. Today they played the Valkyries last night. She could have flown in to California. She could have flown into California yesterday afternoon on a private chartered plane, and after the game, flown back to Indiana, and then on Sunday morning, flown back to freaking Vegas and done the same thing. Coach your damn team. Your assistants can handle practice, but having different voices constantly at games, it's a problem. It is a problem. I've seen a few posts where it's like, we're not entitled. I don't give a shit what some people think. I didn't say we're entitled to anything. I don't think we're entitled to anything. I think in good faith, you actually, when you tell the truth, it benefits you to do so. I think it absolutely benefits you to do so. But they're now supposed to play Vegas on Sunday, play Seattle on Tuesday, and then they're back in Indiana for Thursday against the Sparks. And then they go to Dallas on the 20th. Like they're playing in Indiana on Thursday of next week. Then they go to Dallas the next day. They're back to Indiana on July 3rd. I don't know what indefinite means. I know the generation that I come from, you take your ass to work. I know that there are expectations of you. When you're paid to do a job, you're expected to do a job. When you're paid well to do a job, you're damn sure expected to do a job. Like these aren't things in which you're not expected to do your job. We have to keep it real, people. We have to be honest about things. It's becoming too often that now we just take what people say, personal reasons, personal reasons. Dewana Bonner, the same thing, personal reasons. Newsflash, you know what most ticket holders think of your personal reasons? They don't care. They got their own personal reasons. They got their own personal issues. They also paid a lot of money to see your team play. Now, obviously, no one's paying to see Stephanie White play, but there's also an expectation that because she is the head coach, that she is a better coach than the people on her staff. That's the belief. That's the logical belief that when you're a head coach, that you are a better coach than the people that are on your staff because you've been doing it longer, more than likely. You have the experience. And does that make it true? Does that make it so? Not necessarily, but it's the general belief. So when you don't have your head coach, and your head coach is still not used to Caitlin Clark, and still doing things at times that make you say, why? But yet she continues to miss games and is not there. You have to ask yourself this question. If she's not all in, then just be out. Then why not just be out? Take leave for the rest of the year. Seriously. Go on leave for the remainder of the season. Let Austin Kelly be the coach. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. The back and forth is causing a problem. It's going to cause, if it hasn't caused one, it's going to cause a one. It's going to cause one because it becomes confusing. Because here's what's going to happen. And if you don't think it's going to happen, you're crazy. It's going to happen. They lost, obviously, to Golden State. She wasn't there. But they also won by 27 without her. They've also lost with her. If they are to win more games with Austin Kelly coaching than they do with Stephanie White, what's going to happen is players are going to start to look at Austin Kelly as the head coach. It's psychological in nature. They're going to do so. And when they do so, and here comes Stephanie White, and now we have changes in rotation, changes in substitution patterns, and now it basically affects your game plan, affects what the players have been doing. All these things, you're going to see a difference, and it's going to cause a problem. But this mentality of, well, you don't have the right to know. I didn't say I have the right. I don't have the right to know shit. But as a person who was for fans, it's a respect thing to me. Because the only personal reason to me that would ever justify missing games as a coach or a player is that someone in your immediate family is about to pass away. But here's the thing. We already know this is not her immediate family. And we already know that it's not about to because it literally happened 2 weeks ago. And now it's happening again. So, what is really the story? Same shit with Dewana Bonner. She's just away from the team now. Why? She's stressed out? She's stressed out? She realizes that she can't take the heat playing in Indiana, putting up 6 points per game, or whatever the hell she's averaging right now. What is she averaging? 7 points per game. My bad. Career 15 points per game and shows up here and can't hit the broadside of a barn. Yo, there's pressure playing in Indiana. There's pressure playing next to Caitlin Clark. There's pressure playing in 17,000 seat filled buildings. If you can't take it, maybe you're not cut for it. And I don't think that Stephanie White's away from the team because of pressure. I think that we have a league in which people take liberties and they just go on vacations. That's my belief. I have felt that way for quite some time. I feel that way about NBA players now too. And I think it's gotten ridiculous what's going on in professional sports. And people on the sidelines sit here and say, it's okay. No, it's not. Because you don't get that same privilege at your job. You don't. You do not. For every 100 employees, 90 of them are going to sit here and tell you, yeah, you know what I was doing the day after my mom died? I went to the funeral, and 2 days later, you know where I was? I was back at work. I didn't get to take time off, a month off, 3 weeks off. Yes, are there some places of employment that might grant you leave? You know what happens when they grant you that leave? It's unpaid. It's unpaid leave. You think Stephanie White's not getting paid? Come on now, people. Just keep it real, man. Just keep it real. It's okay. So, yeah, do I think it might be time for Stephanie White to go? Yeah, I do. Because this shit cannot continue. It's going to destroy this team. Let's look at the difference when you why do teams fire coaches? Teams fire coaches because the room needs a new voice. The Florida Panthers have just won back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals. The Florida Panthers hired Paul Maurice. The guy is unbelievable. Amazing coach. The voice this guy has, the way he fights for his guys, the way they like him, they love him, blah, blah, blah. Everything about him is great. Everything. So, Florida Panthers, just want to check this real quick. So, the Florida Panthers in 2019 to 21 hired this coach, Joel Quenneville. He had some issues, obviously. There were some things that came up in his last season with the Panthers, early on that year, where he got in trouble and he was let go. And they hired Andrew Brunette. They basically gave his assistant a promotion. This guy goes on to go 51 and 18 and 6. The Florida Panthers that season were the best team in the NHL. They were the best team in the NHL that season, regular season. They finished the season that year 58, 18, and 6, 122 points. They won the President's Trophy. And you know what happened that season? They got swept in the second round of the playoffs by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Got swept. Won the first round against Washington. Got swept by Tampa. Tampa goes on to the Cup and loses the Cup to Colorado. You know what happened to Andrew Brunette? He got fired. He got fired after leading the team to the best record in the NHL. Stephanie White does not have a team but the best record in the NHL and in the WNBA. They hire Paul Maurice. You know what Paul Maurice's first year is? They're an 8 seed. Do you know what happens? They squeak into the playoffs with 92 points. Literally 1 point more than the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Buffalo Sabres. They squeeze in. They're down 3-1 to Boston in the first round. Come back and win 3 straight games, win the series 4-3. They go on to the Stanley Cup before losing to the Vegas Golden Knights. This is year 1 of Matthew Tkachuk after the Panthers traded the leading scorer in the league, Jonathan Huberdeau. They fired the coach and traded their top scorer, who also led the league in scoring. They bring in Matthew Tkachuk, a complete culture shift of the entire organization. They hire Paul Maurice, and my goodness, you've got a dynasty. Teams fire coaches because they need a new voice in the room. And that's what happens. And when you have a voice changing over and over, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're just creating a problem. So it's probably in her best interest, the team's best interest, if she steps aside. I'm just being honest. And what happens the year after? The Panthers win the cup, and this year the Panthers win the cup again. Paul Maurice, 3 times, 3 years the coach of the Panthers, 3 years in the cup, 2 years champions, and has a team that's primed to do this thing all over again next season. Point being, man, this is not how. This is what we have to get out of this thing about acting like sports are like real life. They're not. They're not like real life, which means you don't get to take days off when you feel like it. When it's a bad day at home, when some bad shit's going on, you don't get to do that. You don't. Some people, I know a lot of people will disagree with me on this. Like I'm hard nosed on this shit, man. You know how many birthdays LeBron James has missed of his kids to play basketball? You know how guilty I feel when I miss my son's basketball game or soccer game or whatever game? I feel guilty as shit. In fact, I've allowed that guilt to consume me at times to where it's to my detriment professionally. Professionally. And I have to get out of my own way for that. Because by allowing outside situations to consume you internally, it is not good professionally. And you have to make that decision within yourself. What's most important in this situation? Is it missing a basketball game, or is it going to doing that meeting that you need to do, or whatever it might be? In the case of Stephanie White, hop on a fucking charter plane. You're the head coach. They'll charter your ass back and forth if they need to. If they don't, then this just further proves that the WNBA is kind of ridiculous. But nonetheless, I think a decision needs to be made quickly. You cannot have this continue to go on. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. This is Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. Come on now.